Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining. So I have been discussing for quite a while now what would happen depending on which administration wins the election. And when I say what would happen, I mean regarding the car industry. And sure enough, the Trump administration is in office now, and things are going exactly the way I thought. They have a whole different philosophy. I'm not trying to be political. I'm just doing this as a political analyst. By the way, I live in the Washington, D.C. area. I have in the past been a political analyst and a political strategist. So not really what I do on this channel, but I do want to discuss that now. Given the fact that President Trump was elected, the whole shift is changing regarding what's going on in the auto industry. As you know, the Biden administration was going towards, quote, clean energy. They were going towards EVs. They wanted to phase out fossil fuels and fossil fuel internal combustion engines in the cars that we buy. So basically, unfortunately, it restricted our freedom of choice for what we wanted to buy. Again, I've said this before, I'm not a fan of EVs for myself, but there is a place for EVs, and I think that they should be readily available for anyone who wants to buy them. They seem to be a good choice for someone who has a short commute to work and back and has a place where they can charge their EV cheaply. But for most of us, we need an all-around vehicle that not only can get us to and from work, but can take us if we want to visit relatives in a different state or we want to travel cross country. So in any event, that's where we are. The Trump administration is now in office, and they are the ones dictating policy. Now, next week is the Washington, D.C. Auto Show, which I will be going to, and it's also known as the Policy Show because there are so many people in the Washington, D.C. area that attend the show, and because they are close to the policymakers, that's kind of a focus on the discussion at the D.C. Auto Show. And it's a lot different than the original lineup at the auto show. The auto show is in addition to industry types from the different car companies, there are also government officials that are discussing the focus and the direction that the administration is taking. And originally, I think there was a lineup of folks that were going to be speaking and discussing their agenda at the auto show that were from the Biden administration. So they would have been discussing green energy, the move forward for EVs, and so forth. But that, of course, has changed. And one of the early keynote speakers is Senator Bernie Moreno, who's a Republican, and he's going to be talking about some of the initiatives in the new administration, allowing consumers to buy what they want, reducing overreaching regulations. This, of course, doesn't only affect the car industry, it affects every aspect of our lives generally. They're going to be discussing cheap fossil fuels, opening up energy markets, and so forth. The Trump, as we've seen, the Trump initiatives and the early initiatives from the Trump administration, really on day one, was to get rid of the EV mandate, so that's gone. It's to curb some of NHTSA's reach into what the auto industry does. And again, these are unelected bureaucrats that are basically dictating the corporate average fuel economy for the car manufacturers, meaning the average fuel economy for the cars they sell, and pushing it up past the limits that internal combustion engines can basically deal with. So it was actually a backdoor EV mandate. So that's another thing that's gone, that's going away. And we're going to see a whole different DC Auto Show next week. One thing last year that you may remember from my video of last year's DC Auto Show was the fact that Stellantis wasn't even there. They really didn't have much to offer. They were sort of still in flux as far as bringing their EV cars to market. They really were behind on that initiative. At the same time, they had already discontinued a lot of the great and popular cars that they were selling, such as within Dodge, such as the Charger, the Charger with the V8s, the Hemi Chargers, the Challengers, and so forth. And they were originally going to discontinue the Durango. But someone at Dodge and someone at the parts of Stellantis, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram, that had some decision-making capabilities, did some smart things. They extended the Durango into 2025, and in doing so, they extended the Hemi V8. And I think that was an effort, given the fact that the administration may change, it was an effort to keep the V8 production going, so that if the administration changed and the policies change, which is what we are now seeing, they already have those engines being produced. And it won't be difficult to, starting off, to get those V8 engines back in the Ram trucks, to get those engines back in some of the Jeeps, such as the Grand Cherokee, the 392 CJ. It's not called the CJ now. The whatever it's called, the 392 smaller Jeep is still being produced. They extended that as well. So now that's still in production. They, again, as I mentioned, they extended the Durango and so forth. So we're going to see a lot of changes and an effort to save the Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Dodge version of Stellantis from extinction because of what has happened now. There is a huge effort now, as we know, Tim has been brought back into the fold. He's the CEO of Ram, and his influence is now spreading far and wide throughout the other brands within the American Stellantis brands. Racer X had a video recently, I think it was a day ago from when I'm recording this now, where he discussed the fact that they're going to bring back a mid-sized truck. Ram will bring back a mid-sized truck. And hopefully with a powerful engine, hopefully not just the 3-liter Hurricane engine. Hopefully they'll try to stick the Hemi V8 back into that the way we used to have them in the mid-size Ram trucks. And that's big news. Also, we've seen the fact that they might bring the Chrysler 300 back, so that Chrysler won't exclusively be a minivan company with one product, a minivan. And I think recently we also saw that the Chrysler Airflow, which was going to be the exclusively EV Chrysler sedan, has been discontinued or at least put on hold. So that's a great thing as well for the Chrysler brand, because that thing would not have made money. It would not have been popular. We're seeing that the EV market is crashing everywhere. And again, with the new administration, we can bet that a lot of the incentives to buy EVs and to build battery plants and so forth for the car industry are going away. So they're going to have to make EVs that are not only popular, but that are economical to build and that are not going to lose money per unit. So anyway, exciting things going on. I just wanted to do a quick video prior to me going to the DC Auto Show, the policy show next week. And I will be reporting back from there. There should be a lot of interesting things going on, and I'm looking forward to reporting back. If you haven't already done so, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. Those things help a lot. Take care. We'll see you next time.